Well, thank you everyone for joining us at really one of the last sessions of the 20th Annual Milken Institute Global Conference. Our theme is Building Meaningful Lives. For all of you watching from outside there, it's a sold out room. I'm sure they're here to see me, but what an amazing and beautiful group of panelists we have today. Our theme is Feng Shui Your Life. We'll talk a little bit about what that means. But I wanted to take a step back and just tell you, when you think about Feng Shui, it's really two Chinese characters, right? It's wind, Feng, and Shui, water, but it's all about harmony and balance. And energy flows.
Flow and the balance.
And so what we're going to do, this is Master Pun-Yin. I'm going to ask her first a little bit about Feng Shui, what it means to her. Who are you? You must be the famous Naomi here. Naomi and I were just talking about what Feng Shui means to her life. And so she's going to talk about it as an individual and then from a business side. And so it's interesting when we talked about why are we all here. We come from different perspectives. So a master of Feng Shui, someone who's really integrated it into their lives and found that harmony and balance in business and philanthropy and so many things. And someone who's seen it from a commercial side. So when I turn first to our master, talk to us a little bit about it, explain to people what Feng Shui is and how they can take it to heart also.
Okay. Feng Shui, as you were saying, is about wind and water. But ultimately, it's really about the flow and balance within us so that we could have the joy and clarity to do what we need to do. Because even though the name assigned to this session is Feng Shui and Prosperity, but I know everyone here understands wealth in the true sense is really about having that serenity in you that you know you're making a difference in the world. It's not money and power. And that's why the Milken Institute have this really critical time of humanity to have this wonderful theme, building meaningful lives. And Feng Shui is just part of something that's been in the American culture for 30 years already that people didn't know. I mean, since the New York transformation projects in Times Square and Columbus Circle at the Trump International Hotel and Tower that my father, Master Tinson, and I did, Feng Shui has merged into the mainstream ever since. And then we've been working with all these corporations and around the world and locally. But it's just that even though a lot of the people think Feng Shui is about objects of placement and organization, but everyone who have worked with the classical and authentic form knows it's so much more, because it's the energy that we are born to, based on our charts, and then also based on the environment we're in and the world we're in. There's a place in the middle that we could find peace and give us the competitive edge. And it's been the mainstream community of the business entrepreneurial world, just like many of the people who attended this conference, that when there's such noise in the world, more than ever, we all need to have that place of serenity, which is like the Trinity that I was born into in my Catholic religion. 3, which later on, I'll mention how you could incorporate this simple techniques so that you could be able to get through this period until next February, that we're in the year of the rooster of awakening, but agitated rooster.
Well, I'm going to hold that there as a preview of things that come. And we're actually going to talk a little bit about how you can, I don't say Feng Shui your life, but bring some of these elements into your home and into your business. And I think some of it, sometimes I feel, is a little bit instinctive, because I know, Naomi Campbell, you've integrated so many things already into your life. And you were talking to me earlier. Without knowing it. And so that's why I wanted you to share with us some of the things that you've done as you travel so much, your work with charity.
I really want to ask you, Pun-Yin, I travel constantly. I'm sure most of the people in this room are constantly traveling. What do we do? Like, we get to so many different hotel rooms, and there's different energies from someone that's been there before. And I'm really about an energy. I want to, it's like, okay, you can burn a candle, but what do you do to clear the energy? Like, you told me something the other day that I thought I tried, and it worked.
Wow. What was that? What did you tell Naomi?
Okay. She's beautiful inside and outside, and aware of the responsibility she has through the fame to help other causes. That's why she's got the intuition.
But you need something. I mean,
But was it like that circling the match thing, or what was it that you
right.
did?
Well, there's two
right?
things. So first, Pun-Yin came to the home, and I really just put things how I feel comfortable. I love light. I have to be light. I need green. And she came in and said, "Oh my God." So basically, she thought someone come in there before, and I said, "Never." It's just the way I thought I should do it. And you know, for me, energy is everything. And I, even with people who are working with me, I now, when someone works with me closely, like we do with our agents and stuff, I ask them, would you go to do this course, or would you go and meet this person? Because, I mean, we have to find a harmony and a balance. I'm always looking for harmony and balance. You're so rushed in so many things, jumping on planes, off planes, here, there, surrounded by thousands of people, yet you can be alone. And I'm always like, then what is it that I'm looking for? I need that balance, that harmony, that peace.
What did you learn from the master the other day?
I learned a lot of things, like fire. I don't need to be near fire.
Why?
Absolutely not.
You're fiery, is that right?
I obviously, I have a lot of metal. No, I have a lot of metal in me, which
Okay.
I put in a lot of metal, no?
That's why you have that perfectionist nature in you and visionary of wanting to create things. Feng Shui, in the real sense, is about balancing of the yin-yang and the 5 elements. Within us, in the micro level, our birthday information gives us the 5 elements characteristics we are of. What is the 5 elements that would calm us and then also to elevate us? So Ms. Campbell asked a very good question that many of my clients deal with all the time, is hotel rooms. How to feel like you're away, but yet home in a consistency, stable place. So the other day we talked about simple things that you could travel with you is, if now in the weather is warm, that you go to nature to pick up 3 pieces of the stones yourself, sort of roundish like this instead of the angular type. And that would be something that you picked up the solar and the earth energy from nature. And wherever you travel to, or even in the office and home, have a white paper towel, and you place that towel or napkins, and then you put the stones there, next to your bedside. So in between meetings, when you get back to the hotel room, you feel there's nature.
It's just grounding.
Wow.
It's just
Grounding.
grounding to
Right.
touch something that's,
Yeah, I want to say that I want to make sure that Sherry is the CEO of, really, I'd say, a forward-looking real estate company. And earlier we were talking about, Feng Shui isn't just about making us as individuals more balanced. There's actually, not that anyone wants to make money at the Milken Institute Global Contract, but there's actually a real commercial element where you have data that says, maybe Chinese Americans like me will pay 16% premium on a place that's balanced. Share with us some of your perspectives and thoughts.
Absolutely, and it's a pleasure to be here. I'm Sherry Chris. I'm the Chief Executive Officer of Better Homes and Gardens Real Estate, and Better Homes and Gardens is a brand that's well known in Hong Kong and China and many other countries as well. Naomi's question about hotel rooms, I travel each and every week, and the first thing I do when I get into a hotel room is, usually I have to look at 2 or 3 rooms before I choose one.
Okay.
So, are you like that too?
Yeah.
So I'm going to get to I'm going to get to my point, but so I know that the hotel staff is always very gracious, but it has to feel right. I usually move the furniture around because in hotel rooms they push everything up, to make the room look bigger. All the chairs are pushed up against the curtains and everything, and that just doesn't work. So I'm one of those finicky travelers that needs the right space. But from a business perspective, today we have over 30% of international buyers are Chinese buyers and Asian buyers.
In the U.S., we're talking
In the
about.
U.S. And when we look at those buyers, they are buying homes that are almost $1 million average sale price. When you compare that to the average sale price across the country, it's about $265,000. So there's a lot of luxury global buyers coming in from China and from Asia. And so when we look at today, everyone expects exceptional customer service in everything that we do, whether we're buying a phone or we're grocery shopping or whatever it is. And so real estate is no exception. 2 years ago, in conjunction with the Asian Real Estate Association, we did a survey about Feng Shui. And we wanted to find out what potential buyers and sellers were thinking about. And what we did find out is that over 80% of potential home buyers will use some form of Feng Shui when they are choosing their home. And I know that we're going to get into what those forms are, but what we did with that information is packaged it up for our real estate agents and brokers across the country and provided training for them so that they can exceed their customers' expectations. Now, there's another piece to that, and I sat in on many of the sessions over the past few days, and it dawned on me that we are all becoming what I call global citizens now. We're not just from one country. We want to embrace the best of cultures from many different countries. And so what I'm finding, and I've spoke to several people here at the conference about this who asked me, non-Asians want to practice Feng Shui. I know you're finding that as well. And because they want balance in their lives, they want an uncluttered life. If your life is uncluttered, your brain is uncluttered, you can function in a better way. But getting back to real estate, people will pay more for a home that is proper as far as Feng Shui is concerned. And so that's why we need to teach sellers to properly stage their homes, because we don't know what types of buyers are coming in. And just, if you have positive energy and walking into a potential property that you're going to buy as a consumer, there's a higher likelihood that you'll buy it, and there's also a higher likelihood that you'll pay more for it. So it's an important business function as well.
Earlier the four of us were talking about trends, but also about how Feng Shui has impacted us. Master Pun-Yin said, actually, this is actually a very unique time in terms of cycles. And you had talked a little bit earlier, was it the angry rooster? Or but I want you to talk a little about that, and I also wanted Naomi then to jump in and talk about, this is actually the 12th, we talk about cycles, this is really the 12th year of some amazing things you're doing with Fashion for Relief.
Yeah.
Right, so you first, and then let's come back to that. And about the balance, we balance our life. I guess we're all serious about work, but how do we give back and really have a meaningful impact?
Are you going to tell everyone what they can do?
The hotel room?
I think you should.
There's so much to talk about hotel room first.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Maybe they would like to try it.
Okay, great. Well, you're probably curious what Miss Campbell is holding in her hands, and that's one of the Feng Shui items I specialize the energy for her to help to calm herself during flight.
Describe it. Not everyone can see it. Describe what. It's a beautiful. What it?
It's a bead, and this has the sparkle and the purple, just like herself.
So amethyst.
Many layers to it.
Too.
Many layers and sparkle to shine inside.
But yesterday.
And programming the words into it. Besides solar charging and prayers that has been done, but you could do one bead at a time. It could be like, I am one with God, or I am with the light. So the vibration of the 5 words you program into a piece that is personal, that could travel with you, helps. And back to the hotel
I always just look at people doing this thinking, what are they doing? Why are they, especially people from the Middle East, it's part of their culture.
Right.
But I totally get it now. It's taken me all this time. But it is something calming to have,
Yes, and for all of us who's always on the road, so if we could set up something that travels with us, and in the hotel room that we could set this. And a lot of my clients running empires, they also have this and the white cloth on the desk before the important meeting. So that my suggestion to them was, in the office, you hold both stones at your palm, and if you could lie back and put one at your forehead to breathe deeply. Synchronizing the now, because we are constantly evolving our past, present, future, and the Trinity representation of our body, mind, spirit is always so important. Whether you are a real estate representative, because your clients need to feel, especially the Asian clients, and especially now that the successful business people, in America and everywhere, use Feng Shui. So if they feel you have something that understands them beyond just beauty and fancy prices of ego, but you are giving them something that's very organically, that touches the heart, and is healthy for the environments, for the family to grow harmoniously. And back to the hotel room again, clearing, back in the old days, 30 years ago when I started traveling on Feng Shui, preparing the room, doing prayers and pushing furnitures, but then it was getting harder and harder to keep up with that routine. So what you could do is when you get into the hotel room, if it's the daylight, open up your curtains to allow sun, solar energy in, hopefully. And there's the match ritual that could be done that without burning the room. If you
Or setting off the fire alarm.
Right.
We were talking about this.
Pun-Yin didn't tell you to do that, okay?
Wait, so you light a match, and what are you doing?
So I have given a little tin can to Miss Campbell so that you could lit the matches over the bed area to clear the old energy from previous people in the room. And the dark corners in the room. So, it may be all four, but specifically the one by the bedside and against the bathroom wall. That is most yin energetically, where negative energy gathers. If you clear that area, and sometimes even the bathroom,
And the
behind the
corners.
curtains, right, and sometimes the closet, you feel it out, how much is needed. Like a lot of the times, my people would order for the room with the sunlight, then it's pretty yang-chi and it's okay without. So this is one of the simple exercise, and you could also have multiple sets. So you could recycle the stones. And this is something that is simple to have. And at home, as we were saying in her home, that if you could find a place in your house that you can lie flat and place the 3 stones at your main chakra points underneath the belly button, and with the essential oil. And if you know your 5 elements composition, of the what specifically objects that customize the energy to the room and yourself, then you will be even more transformed in every 3 minutes you spend for yourself.
Just so that people understand, you light the match and you blow it out, or it's with the lit you're going around the room?
Let it lit.
Okay.
Not lighter, but it has to be matches, the soffit.
It has to be a match, a sulfur
That would-
match.
the
It's
sulfur-
not
so
a
it would
cigarette
clear.
lighter.
No,
It's
no.
a match.
So it
Not the
will
best
clear.
in the world,
Right.
but
But you showed me, Naomi,
the
you have
little tin
a
can
and
that
it's a
holds it so you
candle
don't
or
tear,
something,
right.
and you walk around with that?
Right.
Yeah,
So-
because you're gonna they go out quite quickly.
Okay.
So yesterday I was standing on the bed just doing this, out, another one doing out, in front of the mirror doing out. But
Wow.
I really did feel the difference of them.
Right.
I mean, you have to be careful that you don't catch the bed on fire and don't drop it down.
We'll have a different real estate issue then.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
But there's something I felt a lighter feeling.
Right. And that's why you could be refreshed. I mean, you've been traveling almost every single day since I saw you last week. And you can be refreshed just like this after the long flight,
Well,
and you
slept
fly
very well.
out.
I mean, besides the regular cleaning that we do in hotel rooms, and
Right,
the
right.
phones and the remote controls and all that stuff, because I'm really a stickler about stuff like that. That for me is what's the most important. It's what you taught me.
Right, yeah, that's great. And then also back to the cycle that Curtis was talking about. We are in the agitated rooster cycle, so there's going to be continuously a lot of noise and bickering because we finished the cycle of the monkey last year. Was the rebellious monkey that was angry because the monkey sign was matched with the fire sign. Just like this year, we're in the fire cycle of the rooster. So this chaos until February, is going to be constant. In fact, based on the Chinese astrology cycle energetically, it would last until February 2020.
2020.
Yes, but it doesn't matter. You all learn how to protect yourself.
Master Pun-Yin, this is not a political session, but Master Pun-Yin was saying we could even do this exercise, or someone could in the White House, and do the whole thing, and a better energy flow.
We could.
Yeah. Sherry, it was interesting when I read the research data that you had produced, or your organization had produced, and it talked actually about what does it mean now in terms of an individual house, that maybe some Asian Americans or Chinese American buyers would not want a house. There would be one disqualifying, in their words, Feng Shui element. And it was interesting what they were. Like one I remembered was like if the front door faces the back door.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know, money's flowing out or energy is flowing
Ener-
out. Were there other
positive
things that you
energy.
remember from that study about when you think about houses and feng shui and real estate? What should people, if they want to look at this, keep in mind? And if that's your house already, then maybe what can they do?
There are a few things, and so that is one of them. So if you open your front door and you can walk right through to the back door, that means money is flowing out in positive energy.
Wow, okay.
Another is if your home is on the dead end of a
Cul-de-sac.
court, of a cul-de-sac. So that's not a good thing.
Because the energy stops, maybe?
And then if the stairway as well
Facing the
is
entrance.
facing the entrance. Also, the number 4 is not a positive number. So if the house number is 444 Main Street, that's not a good thing. Yeah. I've actually had, in my work around this, people that have tried to change their house number to a different number, so it would be more positive.
For the sale.
And for the sale,
Wow, okay.
Exactly. So those are some of the things. There are others where, in the bedroom, mirrors should not be facing the bed, and the stove, and you might be able to elaborate on this, in the kitchen should not be right below the master bedroom.
Thank you for making my job easy.
You are
I don't
you're
have to
the
talk about the
master.
physical aspect
Yes,
of
you're
feng
the
shui.
master, I'm the student. So,
But we all make this world together by the energy consciousness that can make harmony in our own life and in the community we belong to. Yeah, and feng shui, there's that physical aspect. There's so many books out there, and in fact, too many focuses on the trinkets and superstitions. That is not the true sense of feng shui. Authentic form, my father and I have been practicing for almost nearly 100 years now. He's 87 and he's one of the most well-known figure in the field. So having to work with the East and West, we could articulate in a universal way that everybody says it makes sense. And one form or another, we've been doing it.
Yeah.
But feng shui in the real sense actually has a macro level and the micro level, based on our Chinese astrology that talks about our 5 elements and how high-low cycle. So we plan things and our strategy accordingly, choosing properties to show your clients that you are aware of feng shui and energy or the culture is important. But to the business community, especially people at the Milken Institute, that do business in China or trying to do business in China, if you create positive feng shui environment in your office, or when you travel to there to do business, understand the culture, that you do respect them and adhere to them. It helps. I mean, back in the 90s, when the real estate tycoon of Trump had to reverse his fortune through a project that shows he is respectful of energy and the Chinese culture that draws buyer and investors. That's when we worked on the Columbus Circle project, that you see the landmark of the Unisphere and Columbus Circle.
Right.
And that in the macro level is city planning, because when we in the 90s, my father and I, Master Tinson, did the Times Square project, it used to be the red light district. Right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
So the Mayor Giuliani administration wanted to have one feng shui blessing ceremony, and then also to announce to the world of the transformation and invite businesses into the district.
When Master Pun-Yin and I are talking about, really, I think we all spend quite a bit of time in New York. That city has really transformed.
Changed.
And you think, oh, it's just an investment. But it wasn't that. It was also, we talked about energy.
Right.
And Master Pun-Yin and her father were very much involved. The Times Square. If those of you who haven't been to Columbus Circle, being a part of New York, there is a big kind of globe.
Yeah.
And really, because I lived there when it was run down, and now it's nice. The energy feels so different now in Columbus Circle. And it might be intuitive that I feel it because I don't know all the things that you know.
Right. Well, now you all know,
Yeah,
right?
absolutely, yeah.
Nature heals. And Central Park is the green dragon of New York City that represents positive power, wealth, and clarity. That's why the Trump International at the time, gave us the opportunity to show how it works in today's world, in the Western society, and the universal concept of energy. And not only just having Central Park there next to number 1 Central Park West, the Trump International Hotel and Tower, it is the thing is because there were 2 Feng Shui blessing ceremonies done for the groundbreaking as well as the grand opening with the international press and dignitaries to participate in the Feng Shui, besides the implementation of the recommendations as many developers around the world I work with, but I not let them use my name as endorsement. I help them behind the scene.
Yeah.
Right.
But the Trump International is especially special because it really exemplifies the Dragon Chi in New York City. But the difference is that the globe was the pearl of the dragon through the Feng Shui blessing ceremony that intentionally planned. At that time, we told the press 20 years ago, this is the location. You give 20 years to nurture the energy of the pearl that represents power and wealth. This entity here, in 20 years, would have maximum power and wealth in return. So we're actually in time right now. 20 years later, here we are, the president.
Are there, Master, implications for, let's think about that one. Are there implications, let's not get too serious, no politics, but are there implications actually for individual events? So for example, not to plug you, but you're doing an amazing thing in France, so I'm going to, for Save the Children. This is, and talk about cycles, this is the 12th year of Fashion for Relief. All of you who are in the United States remember Hurricane Katrina, where really the fashion industry got together to address that terrible situation. And through theirs, and now we're talking about refugees, all that's going on in this world. And I do wonder, your event is in Cannes.
21st of May.
21st of May, and you can still buy a table.
Is that a good number?
Well, that's what I was going to ask about to make sure this event brings some prosperity. Are there things that when people organize, like when we organize the 21st Milken Institute Global Conference, are there things that we should think in mind? So it's not just buying the real estate or in the hotel room, but we want to succeed as an event, as a charitable organization. What should we keep in mind there?
Well, the theme like we have this year, building meaningful lives, is very important because our thought
or rebuilding in the words of refugees.
Right.
Absolutely.
And we continue to need that in the next few years. So always about healing and building is so important in the next 4 years cycle based on the astrology. And then also, you gone through this amazing world, of fame and fortune and all the bustle with it, but you transform. From the learning lesson yourself.
I'm not connected to anything. None of that means anything to me.
Right.
I'm just like,
that's
that's my job, but it's not who I am as a person.
Right.
And there's always people get confused of, well, when I'm doing that, I'm doing that. But me personally, I will go to the ends of the earth to find a peaceful place.
Right.
And I love history. And the culture in Asia, I've gone like everywhere. Bhutan, climbed Tiger Nest. Those are the things that I love to do. I need nature.
Right. And that's why your transformation personally in a journey of trial and error and humbling that becomes who you are today, more beautiful than ever. And we all have the ability to change and transform. No matter how powerful you are politically and in the business community, you have the choice to realize that your responsibility to the world is not about your own personal fame and fortune. When the family legacy that relies on good karma of the senior of the family, it is important for everyone around to help him to come to a peaceful place so that he and or anyone who's in power has the chance to really look inside the soul to think what we could leave behind. Give it the chance and give the right people around, the leaders who could actually remind of the cycle and the lessons and humble and show perhaps sometimes you learn from and remorse from it. America is a very generous and forgiving country. So generous and so inclusive has been what the American spirit has been for many years. And and in the Milken Institute, this exemplifies it. It's about generosity and inclusiveness that we all share knowledges with each other. look at the last few days. But everybody's looking for, okay, besides the knowledge, the world now needs a healing vibration. That's beyond all the things out there.
More than ever.
Absolutely.
Right.
Yeah.
I think with what's going on in the world right now, with so much uncertainty,
Right.
so much fear instilled in us, I think that's why it's even, I can't even turn on TV anymore. I don't want to see.
No.
I need to just do what makes me feel good.
Yeah.
That's why it's important that philanthropy, that been talking to me today, I said, really, let's get together and build something that's just not a community garden or just something beautiful, but something that has an energy awareness, that you could educate each and every community where they can go to recharge their energy. Let's say from an energy path you create and you write down the theme they could see. Maybe a stone pebble path that is helpful for reflexology and releasing stress. And then as leaders, you have the ability to do beyond just coffee machine and gym in the office. That's all in the physical. We are right now in the humanity of that we need to get into the spiritual energy, strength. So you could actually build an aquarium in the office and the public place.
You go to places like
Yes.
Jerusalem, and it's people are praying to a wall. It's like this wall is so sacred. It's healed so many people. It's a similar type of thing. It's just on a grander scale. And it's like I think about like other countries I've gone to, like in the Middle East, in Bhutan, in India. Like you spoke about the flow in India, in Agra.
The Taj Mahal.
The Taj Mahal.
Yeah.
It is. If you see, it goes exactly where his love for her, the story, where the love goes right through. It's an arch all the way through, so her spirit and her soul could be free. And it's. I mean, that's thousands of years old.
Right, and there's so many wisdoms around the world, but then Feng Shui has been around for 5,000 years, with written record for about 2,300 years. And in the last 30 years, we've seen in US and around the world, it's a universal thing that a lot of leaders use, regardless what religion they came from,
Exactly.
and what
Doesn't
educational
discriminate.
background.
No,
Sherry, have you
doesn't.
seen more and more interest? I know that you've
Absolutely.
gone through your own career.
I've seen more and more interest, and what I see out there, not just in my industry, but in general, is that people today want to simplify their lives. And the general premise around Feng Shui helps you do that. To take the clutter out of your life, out of your home, and what that does is it frees your mind up to to realize what really is important. And Naomi's work is a great example of that, because over the past many years, many of us have been selfish in looking only at our own achievements and focusing on our own achievements. And there's so much more that we can do in the world if we unclutter ourselves and allow ourselves to do that. And it's not easy to do. I practice it myself, and it's allowed me to see that there's more to our life and my life than making money. Giving back at a higher level is very important, and it should be to all of us. But I have a question for my female colleagues here. We all have homes in New York, and the three of us. And I wanted to ask you, because I have my own thought on this. How do you feel? I know there are certain parts of the city and certain buildings that are built definitely with Feng Shui in mind. But what is your perception, both of you, of the city itself? Positive energy?
It's for me,
a tough question.
It's divided.
Yeah.
It's divided.
Yeah.
I think the world's divided, though. I was in Paris last week, and it is divided.
Yeah.
And New York is not. I mean, I walk down the street. I say hi to people. People say hi to me. When you put yourself on television now, you have to suddenly say hi. They think you're someone else, and it's like, I don't know. I don't know anymore. I love New York very much. I've moved there when I was 16, and it's not the same as then. Then was really a great ball of love. I felt that, and creativity. And I think Feng Shui and creativity is also extremely important.
Yes.
For the next idea, for the next, inspiration. And, you know, even for designers, I think, you know, how they have their office set up, how they have their design team. I think it's all important. We don't have anymore in fashion, designers don't have the time anymore to get inspired, where before they could go to a beautiful place and come back with, I'm doing this in Africa or in India or wherever. Now it's like the collections are so, they want instant gratification, it's see now, buy now, and then they're going to think of the next one.
Yeah.
So I think it's really become quite hard.
We're in a fast-paced world now.
Yeah, it's kind of hard, and that's how I like to explain my world.
Master Pun-Yin, what do you think?
That's why we really need the 3 minutes energy reset ritual. Regardless
Exactly.
what type of environment we're in.
Well, it's interesting because I think there's actually a lot of big ideas and little ideas that come out of this conference. Wouldn't it be amazing?
Isn't that the simplest thing ever, though?
I would say, it wouldn't it be
to
amazing
go
if
pick your own
that's
3 stones?
absolutely right, and then that would come out of this conference.
Yes.
Right?
And then you would always end up having a part of the strength of nature with you, and then you recycle it. And when leaders start building places the public could go to for help, an energy path, or a building that has a Zen quality to it, where there's a lobby with a few chairs people could sit,
And some
and the
trees.
workplace, right, and plan. But then in ways that it fits the direction, because Feng Shui, the 5 elements I've been talking about, I think still people not know, you know, the water, wood, fire, earth, and metal, each are represented by particular directions, colors, theme of artwork, objects, that representation of the 5 elements.
How do people learn more about it? You know, we'll Google you, we'll go to your website, but you know, all around the world, you know, people watching this, if you know, I have a little place in New York, I have a big place in London, or a small place in Hong Kong, what can I do? Do I have to hire someone, or what can I do? You know, you gave us a great example already with the 3 stones.
Right.
What other advice or tips or things could you share that it's more than trinkets, it's about the energy and how people think?
It's good to be able to find out your own 5 elements composition from a source. Then at least you have some general recommendations. You know,
How do you
what
do
are
that?
the
You have to
objects.
go to someone
There's
that tells you?
Right, or you could go to someone. Or online nowadays, you could get that information.
Okay.
And well, eventually, my book would come out
Yeah.
that give you some
Buy
generalization.
this book, everyone.
I'm doing it reverse. It's too many clients, but then now I cannot answer to everybody. Let me do a book that's simple for everybody. Credibility, authenticity is important.
Right.
Yes.
I think it just, it becomes part of your life. You think in the beginning, oh my goodness, I can't do this. It's just so much I have to remember. And then it just becomes automatic.
Yeah.
And you just live that way.
Yeah, very much so, right? Now, I want to go back to actually some of the data that you had also shared with us earlier. And again, you know, are you finding that actually now it's not just Chinese American buyers? That, you know, I saw the data, and it was a survey really of Chinese American buyers.
It was.
In the United. It was 2 years old. What are you seeing now with all the real estate trends? You know, Russians, Chinese, Japanese, others buying real estate in New York and around this country.
Well, you know, if we start with the Chinese American buyers, the cities that that group, that demographic are buying in: New York, L.A., and very interesting, Texas.
Texas. Huh.
Texas is a very popular state. What, as far as practicing Feng Shui now, and our survey, and actually, you know, I'm happy to share our white paper and all of our documents with all of you. Just either give me your card, or you can Google Better Homes and Gardens Real Estate Feng Shui, and you'll have access to it. But many more people other than Chinese buyers are thinking about and talking about it. And in fact, our agents and brokers bring it up to all buyers. And there is a, you know, a heightened awareness now. If we look back 15, 20 years ago, you know, some people would be looking, you know, sadly at you with a blank stare, right? But today, more and more people are, you know, thinking about it at different levels. I mean, at its simplest form, it's, you know, making sure that your household and your drawers and your clothing and everything is in perfect order, and not having more things than you actually use. And you know, that simple process, getting rid of or not acquiring things that you really don't need and use is a very simple first step.
Right. And
It's
that's
always hard to let go, though. Like, oh my
know.
God, I love that sweater. I don't want to let it go. But it's like getting rid of things is important.
It is important.
It is.
I sell, you know, you might do this too, but, you know, I do have a little bit of a shoe fetish.
I do.
Yes.
I definitely do.
So sadly,
Natural.
but what I do is buy, you know, I'll buy what I want, wear it, and then when there's a point that I'm not really wearing it that much, I sell it on one of the consignment sites.
That's great. Keep
So
it
it's good.
going. Yeah, yeah.
And you know, give some of that money to charity, and it just makes you feel good about yourself rather than opening your closet and 100 pairs of shoes fall out, right?
No, it's absolutely
Yeah.
true.
And that's why right now we're in the time that Zen quality is so needed.
needed.
And then the simplicity is the white color that represents the metal element, but pureness. That simple, quiet place.
Did you
know?
coordinate that with Naomi's?
And that's what she's wearing.
She looks beautiful, and then when we're in black,
yeah, we're all in black.
we're all in
I
black.
took what I could get.
Yeah.
I went to my friend who's a designer, the designer of Brandon Max. I was like, I need an outfit, please. I'm going to.
For LA.
Yeah, because I'm like,
Yeah.
So it's like the yin and yang in front of you.
Exactly. Yeah.
Naomi, as you travel the world, are you finding when you're in Paris or London, there's also talk of Feng Shui? You know, clearly, you know, in Singapore.
well,
where
I
we have,
lived in Russia for 5 years.
Was it Feng
I lived
Shui?
in Moscow.
They're talking about it or not really?
My ex-boyfriend actually builds buildings, and he did go by Feng Shui. He
Really?
did, yes.
Yeah.
And it's a whole area called Capital City, and he did build them that way. He made sure they came in and told him exactly, and that building actually sold out really fast.
Yeah.
And people really liked it. I remember that. Really, the light, the positioning, everything. The trees, he took the advice.
Right, and that's why. I mean, China in the last 30 years only opened up for trade. Look at where it is now, globally. Because we have the Chinese Feng Shui culture as a fiber of our building, city planning, and even within our way of living, respecting elderly, and being aware of that peace, harmonious energy brings wealth. So the wisdom of the Chinese have been so rich, you know, and that's why there's the continuity that we could blend in peacefully, respectfully in every country, not being invasive or aggressive, but we go there and learn what we can and what we could contribute. And so that's why right now, power is not about aggression and demand, but it's if you extend the olive branch, people could feel, whether it's in politics or in trade. There's so much more that we can do together harmoniously that reduces the cost in building based on ego, and then use the money for philanthropy purposes. It's what the meaning of life should be.
Yeah, you know, as we, you know, our time is coming to a close, but I really wanted in these last, 10, 15 minutes, to come back to the theme of this conference, which is building meaningful lives. And just wanted to hear from all of you about that
I was going
message.
to say to you before we were speaking earlier, I think also it's important to take care of you, your body too.
Yeah, yeah.
And I've been also finding something that I spoke to Pun-Yin about, that it's like a kind of alignment of your body, putting it, you know, sometimes chiropractors can be very click, clack, click, and very quick fixes. We don't want a quick fix. We want our nervous system to be balanced and calm, especially if we live hectically. And I found this one called Feldenkrais. And it's, you think in the beginning, oh my God, it's like, what is this? But you feel light. I'm just constantly looking for that balance, more harmonious, whatever it is. So body also, what we eat, what we consume, all of that matters.
Absolutely,
You know,
yeah.
what's food with fire? What's food with calm? What's food with alkaline?
Well, it comes back also to what you're saying in terms of Chinese philosophy and the balance of elements. And all.
Right. Which, I mean, just look around us. In the US, one of the most powerful countries for so long, that exemplify humanitarian, compassionate spirit. And but then, yes, we in America have such obesity problem, drug problem, emotional problems, family problems, because there's some powerful energy force That's within our consciousness as a nation and as a time of humanity we are in. We could tap into, in addition to all the religions out there and all the designers and all the healing energy, physical aspect, but now we are in the time of critical period. Healing and elevating humanity means you have to deal with the energy aspect. In order for all the rest of the issues right now, that's overblown government, and systems, that is not the solution.
Sherry.
I will say that, and I'll use myself as an example. We are running at such a fast pace that we're not really concentrating on anything, any one thing. And I will tell you that, personally, I had an epiphany about 5 years ago where I thought, where is my life going to end up? I'm traveling everywhere. I'm not thinking about anything because there's too much to think about. I'm, in a meeting on my phone at the same time. I have my laptop in front of me. It's terrible. And so, you never know when that epiphany is going to hit you, but you have to let it in. And I believe that Feng Shui allows you to clear your head and your mind. Absolutely. So what's happened to me is that I realized that, there is a higher purpose for all of us if we choose to recognize it and acknowledge it. And so one of the things my company and I are doing now from a charitable perspective is we're building an 80-home community in El Salvador for people who do not live in homes. They're living in, huts, unfortunately. I've visited them personally. And so, it's along the same lines of what you're doing. And so for me, that's what brings me the greatest joy, is being able to take my talents and everything that I've learned over the past 30 years in business and give it back to help others that are much less privileged than any of us in this room are, to at least have a peaceful and enjoyable life. And so, I think that the theme of the conference for me was a very powerful one because I actually just got back from El Salvador on Sunday. I was there visiting our site, and just for all of us to, set everything aside and let the positive energy flow in. It will help you determine how you can give back. And there's nothing, I'll tell you, that will bring you greater joy than that, other than, of course, your families. So this has been a fantastic experience for me. And, it's just a great honor to be with.
Likewise. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Sure.
absolutely.
And that's wonderful that we are all having the same heart. Just use the blessings we have to see what we can offer to the world. And this, you hit on a very special point that I heard over the other day at the conference that Ariana Huffington was talking about. It took her to fall, to be bleeding in a pool of blood, to realize something's got to change.
Something's got to give.
Oh, she
We
was
are
so,
leaders and driven people. Can we give ourselves 3 minutes every single day, and once in a while a break for 3 days, that we're tuning out? I mean, that's the difference of knowing the wisdom of the Chinese Feng Shui and astrology.
Push ourselves.
We all have to look at where we are now and where we are in the next 3 years cycle in order to determine how to work smart, not just work hard. Last year's election showed us working hard and working smart, there is a difference.
There is.
Success.
Think about that
success.
one.
Yeah, success is about good timing. Timing that's advantageous for you.
Absolutely.
Feng Shui that helps, as well as the people force that's behind you. When you put the three together, that is the formula of success. So many people have strong minds and strong willpower, especially leaders of the world and leader of the Milken's supporters. But sometimes someone needs to remind them, hey, let's see where you are in the next 3 years. So that as many of my clients have talked to me, Pun-Yin, in the next 3 years, what should we be doing? Expanding or taking it easy or slow down by doing philanthropy work or family relationship rebuilding. So everybody has a different need based on their own astrological cycle. That is, makes it easier than just forcing yourself ahead. Be in the flow. Feng Shui.
Well, but I do want to ask you about that because we have a lot of CEOs at these Milken Institute global conferences, and what can you do as a business leader? It's not just what am I going to design my headquarters like, but what if I have a staff of 5 people or a staff of 5,000 people? Is there something that a business leader can take away as he thinks or she thinks about how we move forward these next 3 years or 5 years?
Right. So, because my father and I have been in the U.S. serving the public for since the 80s. But him, at 87, all these years of working, what we realized that everybody needs a different kind of formula. In the true sense of Feng Shui, if you're lucky enough to find an authentic master to help you to customize what that is. But if not, at least you should know whether your own cycle based on the astrological and the elements of the fire and earth and all that in the cycle, that it is you are in the flow of easy forward or resistance. Don't fight against the force. If you're not listening to the sign, you are making your own life hard. And that's why people have disease. So no matter how big the company is, and many headquarters I have worked with, as well as small companies and startups sometimes, back in the years when I can still handle, different scales. But now I try to choose companies who are more responsible in doing philanthropy work, or clients who have evolved to be spiritual along the way, then I'll continue to work with them. So the corporations need to start thinking, your most important resource is the emotions of your staff. And what do you give them in the environments? That's beyond just the coffee bar. And the gym, that or the sleeping part, that honestly people told me, they're afraid to use. Then others would judge them as being lazy and goofing off. But if you create an energy zone that is 3 minutes, looking at the aquarium by a specific energy place that they could set in the office, that everybody, when they utilize it, there's no worry about being judged. It's that you want to feel good. You want to serve your company and your organization better. That's a holy mission, to create that kind of spaces, in public places, buildings. And beyond just the amenity, it's really if you can build not only a sauna, but a sauna that has a theme, whether it's Himalayan salt in it or amethyst. So, design and luxury have, seen experience around the world. We're in a new world. Let's get it together. There's an inexpensive way of doing the highest good.
Yeah, I think that is such an important message. We have people here with actually a lot of high net worth. And so one of the questions is, but what if I don't have those resources? As an individual, what can I do to change things? And I think we've given some ideas that already.
So when the Sloan Kettering Cancer Center over 20 years ago had me to help to design with the team the new expansion wings, they were so great in understanding there needs to be a therapy room for the patient as well as the family. So there's the room has music therapy, art therapy, and different things going on besides the Feng Shui implementation that helps to improve the energy of the environment. And so recently, a few years ago, the New York State have commissioned me to do a hospital project over in downtown New York City. So it's really Feng Shui in the natural universal sense. It's something that just complements architects, designers, and different minds, so that they have a special place in their heart to think what is best, not only on power, but also, am I creating a light and a positive influence for the world and for the children in the world and their own family, to in the future can walk high up, with the head up, not being ashamed what the parents have done. And that is karma. The world is about karma. We are. Our past, present, future is right now.
Oh my goodness.
The power is within us.
Wow. You know, I think it's fitting that we actually have 3 minutes left. We talked about that magical 3 minutes. I wanted to ask all three of you if you had something to share. You know, thinking about all that we learned and heard right now, and some of it was intuitive. You know, I thought, oh, I'm doing that already. But clearly there's much to learn.
I
Sherry?
have one, very short, because I know we only have 3 minutes left. If there was one thing, this would be my advice to everybody. And I know that, some people have access to much greater resources than others, but this is my one piece of advice that I share often, and that is, if you openly give without asking for anything in return, whether it's business or personal, it will come back to you tenfold. I truly believe that. And quite often in business, people will say, well, I'm not going to help him or her because they did something to me 2 weeks ago, or whatever it is. Just set all of that aside and openly give, and it will come back tenfold. And that's where you will raise yourselves up to be an exceptional human being in every sense of the word.
Naomi, did you have a thought?
I don't think I'd be sitting here if I hadn't had someone that to share their knowledge with me in different aspects of my life. Was just when I wanted to get on, I knew I had to get off the road I was on. So I'm a big believer in sharing and passing it on, and whatever it is, my business or it's not my business, or whatever I can. And philanthropy for me, I didn't even really know about what philanthropy was. I was 22 years old, and I got to meet the great President Mandela, and he just said, okay, you're going to go there and you're going to do this, and that's how it really started for me. And it really was, for me, eye-opener to see, like, just, I realized that we're blessed, we have so much more we can do and give, and it's either you like it or you don't like it. It's not something someone can push on you to give or not. So everyone does it in their own way, and that's their discretion. It's not about wanting to know what the person's done.
Sure. Yeah, no, that's special. Master Pun-Yin, I think you should have the final word on that.
Thanks. Sherry's mentioning of good deeds, not thinking about the return, but it feels like you could be proud of what you're affecting, and just like Ms. Campbell was saying, going with the flow. Sometimes you don't know, and a lot of the times, if you are in that enlightened place, you actually don't need to know. I missed for myself. When I was 27, Mayor Giuliani still and Trump still landed on my lap. I didn't have a publicist. All these years, I didn't have to really plan anything. There's the divine energy that's working for those of us who are adhering to it. That things would happen. You just go with the flow.
Yeah. Go with the flow. I want to thank really an amazing panel. This theme of the Milken Institute Global Conference this year was actually very unique, now that I've been coming here a couple years. Building meaningful lives, and what a special theme, what a special panel. And I think your message, I hope, goes out there above and beyond, this specific session.
Yes, and you've been so wonderful. Yesterday's
Moderator.
interview, he made me get into the flow and not being nervous. And today,
go with the flow.
That's my message. You made us all shine.
That's my message.
So thank you.
Anyway, how about a big hand for everyone up here with me? Thank you, everyone, for joining us this afternoon.